Hello and welcome to All Out Cricket. Future of one-day cricket. It is very secure and very strong, especially after this World Cup. This World Cup has been a huge success for the ICC, and they have done an excellent job by keeping it high and reducing the number of teams from 12 to 10 in the next two World Cups, which will be played first in Australia and then England. One only hopes that the format of these World Cups would be a round-robin one, where each team plays against each other at least once. Here one feels that the quality will always remain high if this is the format, and one only hopes that it is a mandatory one, because every team has a chance to qualify in the semi-finals. And on the other hand, the ICC has increased the number of teams in 2020 World Cup. Now it is 16, because the shorter format of the game is more unpredictable than the longer format of the game. And in 2020 cricket, it's very difficult to predict, which means the top teams have to perform to the fullest, and in the end it will only benefit them in all formats of the game, and at the same time give enough opportunity for the minnows to compete with the best teams in the world.
Sri Lanka started playing international cricket in 1975. The 1975 World Cup was the first ever exposure in international cricket, and in 1982 they played the first ever test match. Now, between the first three World Cups, the Lankans only played 26 one-day matches. But things improved for them. In mid-80s to early 90s, these numbers increased as they started to take part in triangular and quadrangle series involving both India and Pakistan. Most of these series were played in subcontinent. During that period of time, Sri Lanka were the pet minnows of world cricket. For Zimbabwe, it was in 1983. They created history as they became the only country to defeat a test-playing nation in the very first game. They defeated Australia in 83 World Cup, but sadly, they hardly played any international games since then. They were only called upon for World Cup matches, and being an African country, they never took part in the bilateral series because Kenya didn't play till 96. And the first game against South Africa was only in 1995. Rest of the countries never invited Zimbabwe. Between 83 to 92, Zimbabwe played only 20 one-day matches. Same thing happened to Bangladesh. Bangladesh played their first international game in 1986. It was the first one-day match, but they never played a World Cup match till 1999. Now, between 1986 to 1999, Bangladesh only played 30 one-day matches, which is on average less than 3 matches per year. The stats in this graphic is of international games played by Bangladesh between two World Cups, but they were not involved in any of them till 1999.
All said and done, but what will happen to these minnows? Especially Ireland. They have done a fabulous job. In fact, they couldn't have performed better than what they have performed now. Now, where do they go? What is it that they have to do to get back in the race? Here one feels that the ICC should look at the past and see what mistakes were made. For me, the solution is that every minnows should play at least 10 one-day matches against test-playing nation, and also at the same time 15 to 20 T20 matches against test-playing nations. One can understand the commitments by test-playing nations which would not allow them to travel to countries like Ireland and Netherlands, but what is stopping those countries to travel in these countries? At the same time, one also can understand the players' availability. Here one feels that each test-playing nation has enough players to play all the 3 formats throughout the year. It will only increase the quality and give more opportunities for youngsters to come into the side. But at the same time, at least have 30% of international players against these teams, so that the quality and the competition remains high. All this will only help cricket grow and get stronger, and so that they can compete with other sports and become number one in the world.
Compared to Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, Ireland and Kenya had a great start to the international cricket. But to survive, they require more games against test-playing nations. Here is a progression graphic of Ireland and Kenya. Ireland played their first international game in 2006, and they have been very impressive in their performance. In 64 one-day matches, they have won 30. The graphic shows the year-wise win progression. Kenya, on the other hand, was stalled. They too, like Ireland, had a fabulous start to the international cricket, and like Zimbabwe, created history by defeating a test-playing nation. In 1996, they defeated West Indies in India. Then they started to win on a regular basis, especially against Bangladesh and few games against India. They surprised everybody by getting into the semi-finals of the World Cup 2003. But after that, things went bad for them. They stopped playing cricket for some time and only resumed in 2006. But in the last 5 years, they hardly had any games against test-playing nations. In fact, only 14. But overall, like Ireland, the success rate against lesser teams is very good.